Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Akakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and peace and salutations to the elect of Israel. To you I say Shalom. Lord willing, this listening is edifying to the flock of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. It's in the book of Baruch, chapter 2, and verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves. Right? And we're coming into the time of remembrance as a nation, man. All right? Starting with, the elect waking up and learning the truth and teaching the truth. And now, not only are, 2/3 of our people, all right, but also these other nations are learning who we truly are, man. All these times for centuries we've been called different labels: African American, Negro, Black, Hispanic, Latino, Latina, uh, Indian, things of that nature. These are all bywords and proverbs, right? Because from day one the Lord always referred to as us as his chosen people, Israelites, man. Yasharallah, man. We are the prince of the power, man. All right, but now the truth is spreading, man. All right, and it's a beautiful thing too, because you got other. It's out there, man. The truth is out there. All right, there's no way you could deny it. There's no way you could disprove it. Right. First and foremost, because it's in the scriptures. You can't disprove anything in the scriptures, man. You can't disprove Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Now, these history books are coming out, and they've been out, but they've always been hidden, and tucked away, never talked about, because people didn't want to know. Right. And I seen this book from the University of Oklahoma Press. It says Lost Tribes Found, Israelite Indians and the Religious Nationalism in Early America, a book by Matthew W. Doherty. I believe his middle name is William. But yeah, this book came out in 2021, but the truth been out way before that, man. But now you got the truth spreading from everybody, man. And this is the author right here, which I perceive to be an Edomite, but he could be Jake too. But ultimately, we try the spirit by the spirit. But nonetheless, you got this guy here writing books and dissertations with papers proving that even I should say Slovakia further proving that so-called Native Americans or so-called American Indians are actually Israelites, man. And if we go to the Slovakia, the book of Second Esdras, chapter 13, because this was prophesied to happen, man, about the Native Americans being, Slovakia being about the so-called Native Americans being actually the people of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Second Ezra chapter 13, starting at verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land at the time of Hosea the king, who Salamansar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Right? And that's the Americas, man. Right? This is where Jake came to, serve Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in truth and sincerity. But of course, eventually they got corrupted, started serving the creation more than the creator. And so the judgment was really Esau Edom, man. Alright? The judgment for that was Esau Edom. Let me go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4. Book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 27. And the Lord Yahweh shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua shall lead you. And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. All right. And this is what happened to the so-called Native American tribes, a.k.a. Gad and Reuben, man. All right. Verse 29. But if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy power, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul. right? And this is what's happening today. You got the 1/3 and the elect of our people waking up and seeking Yahweh Bashim Yahshua in truth and sincerity, and now we're starting to see the curses being lifted off us, the curses being put on our enemies, and you're starting to see the Lord starting the process for His deliverance, man. Because prophecy has to be fulfilled before the ultimate deliverance comes, before salvation comes, man. Prophecies still have to be fulfilled, man. But nonetheless, I was reading a paper. This is his resume. Salakia. I was reading a paper from this guy here, Matthew W. Doherty, that he wrote, I believe, in college back in 2014 or 2017. Salakia. And he wrote Land of the Jewish Indians, How the Hebrew Bible Made Race and Territory in the Early United States by Matthew William Doherty. Right, and this is from 2017. He says a dissertation submitted to the faculty at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and partial fulfillment of requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the Department of Religious Studies in the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, Slovakia. Right, so he was writing that for a major university for North Carolina, man. One of the most important one of the most important universities in Babylon, man. Right, and then now he's teaching in Canada, man. Babylon probably shipped his ass out, man. Told him you can't teach this, you can't spread this here, man. Right, but it's an interesting. I didn't read this whole thing. I really what I did is like I'm doing now. I just skipped to a random page, right? But this paragraph stuck out to me, and it says, as Bodenot, and a very large company of gentlemen and ladies watched 20 or 30 Indians entered to the regular beats of a drum, wrapped in blankets, and began a circular dance, quickening on each rotation around the center, so as to make them very warm, and singing until at the end of the fourth round, they cast off their blankets entirely and danced vigorously in a mere frenzy, twisting their bodies and wreathing like so many snakes, and making as many antic gestures as a parcel of monkeys. To Bodenot's ears, the song they sang sounded like Yahweh. This was exactly what he hoped to hear. He had absorbed from James Adair, author of History of the American Indians, that the idea that the American Indians preserved the original pronunciation of the four-letter personal name of God that had been lost to the Jews and Christians. Right, a four-letter personal name, they're referring to the Tetragrammaton, which is the YHWH, man. But he said when they were singing the song, he basically heard them say the name of the Lord, man, Yahweh, right? But of course they spelt it as how they heard it. You know, Esau's ears can't keep up with that, man. Right? You ask heathen nations and Edomites to say the name of the Lord, they'll always butcher it, man. Always, man. But this is what he heard: YHEHOWAH, Yehovah, Yehovah, Yahweh, man. All right, so even back then, man. Even back then, this is pre or about 1774, 1775. You would, the idea that the so-called Native Americans were actually Israelites, man. And then, of course, I came across this another book, which really, I tend for this book, I tend to like skim through it a little, but you know what the scriptures say about many books, man, because we have all the information we need, man. But you also gotta understand the history to understand the mystery, man. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, and verse 12. And further, by these, my son, be admonished, and an admonition is a warning. All right, so basically, be warned. Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. And further, by these, my son, be admonished. Of making many books, there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Right? There's so many books out there that it's really no point to go through all of them, man. All right, because we got what we need, man, which is the book of the law, man, the word of Yahweh Shem Yahshai. But another book that I came across that came out in 1660 was called a book from a man called Thomas Thorogood. It's called Jews in America, or Probabilities That Those Indians Are Judicial, Slovakia, Juda, Judaical, Slovakia. Jews in America, or Probabilities That Those Indians Are Judaical, made more probable by some additionals to the former conjectures. London from Henry Brougham at 1660. All right, and I guess this is from Sotheby's, which is a famous auction house. You could buy this book online, like paperback or the PDF or ebook or some things of that nature, for like $4.99, 19.99, whatever. But the like original manuscript online, it costs about from my estimate, $4,000 to $6,000, man. All right, and in this book, it's from the 1600s, so it has characters that modern English you might not recognize. Like it says, probabilities that those Indians are Judaical, but the S in the word those looks like a F, right? So it looks like Thafi, but it's really those, even though they did have S's back then. Made more probable by some additionals to the former conjectures. Again, it looks like a F. So these books are hard to read, but even this book got precepts in it too, man. All right, hey, and this is how it's the truth, man. All right, because you really can't go around the word of Yahweh Shem Yahshai. It says Psalms 59:11, slay them not, lest my people forget, scatter them by thy power. Right, again, proving that the Lord's chosen people, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, were scattered because of your disobedience, man. All right, going back to Baruch chapter 2 and verse 31, and I'll read verse 30 again. Baruch 2 and 30, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Lord their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name. Right. And that goes back to that one paper that guy wrote about how, the so-called Indians would sing in their chants the name of the Lord, man. All right. Verse 33, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the ways of their father, which sinned before the Lord. Right. For centuries, the name of the Lord was forgotten, man. But now it's being brought back to remembrance, man. All right. Let me jump. Let me jump over to. Let me get one more. I'm gonna close out, Lord willing. Book of Psalms, chapter 44. Psalms 44, starting at verse 9. But thou hast cast off and put us to shame, and goest not forth with our armies. Right. When the Lord is dealing with us, when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, right, following the law, statutes, commandments to the best of our ability of being a righteous nation. When we go out to war, the Lord fights our battles for us, man. All right. No matter no matter the odds against us, man. It could be one man versus 1,000, man. The Lord will fight for us, and we will win, man. All right. But when we're going off, the Lord's not going to defend us, and this is what happened, man. We got put to shame. All right. Verse 10. Thou makest us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil for themselves. Right. Now, instead of the enemies fleeing from us, we're fleeing from the enemy and became a spoil. All right. Every nation that has the Israelites in it, man, or across the four corners of the earth, are spoils for that nation, man. All right. They get used mostly for work and to pay taxes, man. At the end of the day, the labor that they don't want to do, but they don't want to pay a fair amount to do, and taxes, man. That's all Jake is good for in the eyes of the enemy, man. And in return, what did they give us? They give us the freedom and the ability to do absolute any wickedness we want to do, man. Which causes us to remain in our captivity, and causes them to remain basically making a buck off of us, man. Making fools out of us. Which really we're making fools out of ourselves by serving these wicked ass heathen nations, man. Psalms 44 and 11. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen. Right. We're slave. We're prey out here, man. We're prey, and all we're doing is being scattered among these other nations, man. Being preyed upon, man. Verse 12: Thou sellest thy people for naught, and dost not increase thy wealth by their price. Right. The Lord is the one that put us, that really sold us into slavery. But he didn't do it for his own benefit, man. At the end of the day, he's not getting rich off of us, man. He's not making profit off of us, man. It's really all to teach us a lesson, man. But hey, we got to go through the fire and remove all our impurities, Salakia, before we come out right, man. This is just basically the trial, man. Verse 13: Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them that are around about us. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. Right? Again, getting called Indian, getting called black, getting called Hispanic. These aren't our titles. These aren't our proper names. Right? These titles aren't who we are, man. These aren't our identities. This isn't our culture. Right? And these are all bywords, man. And, and because of that, we are put to an open shame. All right, there's a word for nigga in every fucking language, man. All right, you see a so-called black person in Japan, there's a word for nigga for him. There's a word for nigga in every language, man. All right, but there's also a word for king and ruler and governor, and that's the title we're going to get, Lord willing, once we're out of our captivity. All right, but I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. And peace and salutations to the elect of Israel. Until next time, I want to say Shalom and Abad Babal.